Hello and welcome back to Rue's Life. It's November and it's time for me to show you around my garden. So let's start outside before the rain comes down. So the flower bed here you can see is coming to its end. There's a few weeds coming through, but we have still got a little pop of colour. So I'm leaving this bed as the last one on my weeding and mulching list, because I want to enjoy the rest of that colour. I've got some leek here in this pot and they're almost ready to pull, and then there's a couple of pots here. There was poppies in that one, I could gather in those seeds, and I can't remember what's in that pot, but I think it just needs tipping out. It hasn't really come to anything. And moving along, I've now got my overwintering onions in this bed, so the bulk of them, the white ones, are at that end, and then from this stick on there's some red ones, but I do have some red onions in one of the other beds and we'll get to that momentarily. This is the bed that I had a really successful harvest of squash from. They've all been cleared and now it's got those onions. This bed I've still got quite a lot of beetroot. I've got some boltardy here, and this is chioggia, that beautiful candy stripe. In here I've got some leek. I've covered this part over now because there's nothing growing there, so I've started mulching it with, I've put some leaves down, and then on top of those leaves some cardboard, and I will put some more organic matter on top of that. So it might be some well-rotted horse manure or chicken bedding, or some of the bark that I've scraped off these paths that's mulched down before I top it up with fresh, but I will get some more mulch over that over the coming weeks. And we'll just move our way along so you can see the leek here, and these beautiful chioggia beetroot, which I'm going to start. I just tend to pull them and use them as I need them, and they've slowed down in their growth now, so I'm not so concerned about them getting woody, but if I am, I could pull them up and roast and freeze them. Again, I've started laying down my cardboard here, and then in this corner we've got the lovely tasty chives. While we're up this end, I've started on the fruit bed. So here I have my raspberry canes, and you can see I haven't moved those yet, but I've chopped those back, and those are to be chopped up and popped onto the compost heap. The strawberry bed, I've started to pull the netting back, but I do need to finish that job by completely pulling off the netting, pulling up some of the older strawberries and popping in some of my newer strawberry plants, which I'll show you in a moment. The rain's starting to come down, but I think we can get the outside done. And then this is the bed that the onions were in, and then I had a lot of Californian poppies and calendula, and it was absolutely beautiful, and I just need to get this weeded out now. There are still a few onions left in there, so I'll get those harvested, and then this bed will be completely cleared, pop some cardboard and mulch down and put to bed for the winter. This is the brassica bed. This end has got the rest of the red onions in, and over here, let's get a little bit closer, we've got this delicious purple sprouting broccoli. This is also purple sprouting broccoli. I think we might get a little bit more from it. If not, then I will pull it. Here we've got my very poor example of curly kale, and I think I'm actually just going to pull that up now. It really did get a combination of slug and caterpillar damage. And then over here we've got my lovely tasty looking Brussels sprouts. These are quite big and fat, and then we've got some plants with some smaller ones. So we're now inside the polytunnel. The rain is really coming down now, so let's have a look and see what's going on in here. So we'll start off in this left hand corner with my absolutely delicious tasty chard and spinach, and then we've got a little bit more chard here, which is coming along nicely. The hanging baskets above are empty. This is one of my geraniums and a beautiful thistle which I need to pull out, and I will cover those to protect them through the colder months. The bean arches are now empty, and I've got an nasturtium plant coming here, which will just keep growing nicely, and that's actually food for Victor, our tortoise. And then behind me in the other bed, Again, I've got two hanging baskets and then this one with the geranium, which will be covered to protect it through the winter months, or the colder winter months should I say. We're already into winter. These are my parsnips, which are getting ever closer to being harvested. I have had a little feel at the shoulders and I think there's some really good specimens in there. This door, while we're here, I'm currently using, but as this is the mesh topped door, I will be closing this door up for the winter months, and then I actually batten all the way around the edge and I cover it over with bubble wrap and close it up for the winter, and then I just use the sliding door, and that really does help to keep the heat in here over the colder months. Parsnip bed, I've got two empty tubs, and then in this bed where I had those absolutely delicious and prolific dwarf beans, I've now got some carrots. I've still got these two little tubs with the little mini pansies in, which again are part of Victor the tortoise's diet. Down here we've got my geranium, which is from the little window box on the shed. Again, that's come in now to protect it from the cold, and it will also be covered. In the end bed there are my chilies, which haven't been particularly brilliant, but as you can see there are a few chilies remaining, and I will get those harvested so that we can use them. I've got more geraniums here. These are the ones that were outside, which again will stay in here over the winter, and I will cover them. And then there's two more geraniums here, and while we're doing the hanging baskets, this is an empty one here. Underneath that on the staging, I've still got some seedlings. These little plants should have gone out some time ago, but there's been a number of factors going on, including being a little bit poorly, but I will be getting those out as soon as I can. But I have moved some of the things that were here out. I have got an empty tub here, just a few onions left on the string here now, the rest are in the freezer. This is netting that came off where the raspberries are, and I'm just drying it here in the polytunnel before I fold it and pop it away. And then in the corner here we have got some leafy greens, again for both us and for Victor. So we've got some spinach here, this is lemon balm, here we've got some rocket, I have Mizuna, behind the hose pipe an empty tub. That's a tub of carrots, which I will just thin them out a little bit, and then the very last of the tomatoes, and you can see some of these are now starting to split, so I do need to get those harvested. And then just an empty tub there in the corner. And then just popping outside again briefly while there's a break in the showers. Here are my strawberry plants that were taken from runners, which I will be moving into that strawberry bed, and my rhubarb here. So you can see, although winter is upon us, I've still got lots growing here in the polytunnel and outside. Do let me know in the comments below what it is that you've got growing at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed this tour. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.